Good evening, everyone, and welcome to our fall programming series. This is part of our professional series. This is gearing up for fall recruitment, fall 2021. We're so excited to have you here. My name is Joshua Meredith. I'm being joined by the unbelievable Todd Latchpike here tonight. We're going to have a lovely conversation with you about how you get set up for the year. Fall recruiting season will be starting really soon, so let's get started. Okay, a little bit about Todd. So my name is Joshua Meredith. This is Todd Latchpike. We are here. We're both directors here at the Shevak-Glabach Center. Todd is the director of employer relations and engagement. We're super happy to have you here tonight.
Thank you, Joshua. As mentioned, oh, well, never mind.
Oh, Todd, please talk a little, introduce yourself and tell us a little bit more about yourself.
You. So I'm the director of employer relations and engagement, and I oversee the ER team while Joshua oversees the career advising team. So whenever you see, messaging or communications about the fairs or the meet and greets or various industry events and on-campus recruiting, that all comes from me and my team. So it's very nice to meet everybody, and it's as Joshua mentioned, it is a great crowd tonight. So thank you for joining us.
Yes, a little bit more about the Shevak-Glabach Center. We have a brand new website that we just launched, and all of this information is included in there, including our mission and vision. We at the Shevak-Glabach Center really are here to help your development and really look forward to sort of making sure that you're able to sort of create the vision for your future, no matter what that really is. So that's really a key standard for us going. We want to learn a little bit about you tonight. So please, if you could in the chat, let us know what your class level is, what your major is. We'd really appreciate it. We'll also be taking questions in the chat as well. So thank you all. We really look forward to sort of meeting you all. Take a second, hit us up in the chat, tell us what your major is, tell us where you're from. All of that is much appreciated. Okay, we're not getting a ton of messages right now. Some of you may have been joining from your phones, which I completely understand. We got a physics master's program, some in computer science, some first years, psychology major, accounting and finance. Okay, we have a very diverse group here tonight. Computer science, psychology, undecided, more accounting, more finance. Okay, some math. Okay, great. Thank you. I really appreciate all of you participating in sort of our event here tonight in that way and telling us a little bit more about yourself. I'm going to throw it over to Todd, who's going to talk about what's been going on in the recruitment cycle.
Sure. Thank you, Joshua. And thank you, everyone, for letting us know, what level you are and your majors and things like that. The information we're going to talk about tonight is pretty general, and it can apply to most majors. I'm seeing some of you, might be on some of the more sort of structured and rigid recruiting timelines. So if you do have any specific questions about those at the end, if it seems like I'm skipping over something, please do ask, and we'll do our best to get that answered. So what's been going on, with recruiting over the past 16 months? Well, as everybody knows, we had a pandemic, but it was actually kind of amazing at how well pretty much every industry adjusted to their processes, not only for 2021, but also for 2020. Everything was virtual at first, but I am starting to see a lot of things coming back, especially for the 2022 cycles. This past summer, most of the interviewing and super days and on-campus recruiting was virtual, but we are starting to see a lot of different firms and companies start to bring students in for interviews and these face-to-face meetings. As their workforce comes back, obviously their interns are going to come back, and their HR departments are going to come back as well. Over this past summer, as far as internships progressing as planned, it absolutely did happen. If I had to put a number on it, I'd probably say about 60% of YU students were remote interning, where 40% were either fully going in or doing some sort of hybrid model. Or something like that. But there were no slowdowns whatsoever this past summer, and we expect that to continue moving forward. One thing that did sort of arise, sort of a silver lining to the whole pandemic, if you could say there is such a thing, is what we found is that, YU students now have opportunities to intern in places that may have previously been thought of as impossible. I'll use the example of Israel because, every summer, we would have, a handful of students travel to Israel to do their internships for the summer and then come back for the fall. But we've actually been able to develop some pretty good partnerships with a lot of different firms over there across all sorts of industries, primarily in tech, but also a lot of marketing and business related and things like that, that are open to taking remote interns from the States. So over the past 2 summers, we've had an exponentially larger amount of students able to intern for Israeli firms, which is fantastic. And as I mentioned, that's one of the sort of benefits that came out of everybody moving to remote, because students can now intern anywhere. It doesn't have to be in the tri-state area or wherever you're from, because a lot of these workplaces are now fully comfortable with this sort of remote intern programming and things like that. Job offers, thankfully, have not slowed down either. We're starting to see students get their full-time offers for 2022 based on their 2021 internships. All good signs. We're not seeing any air of concern or anything like that. So this is fantastic news for all of you, whether you're first time on campus and you're just starting your academic career, or if you're going to be, graduating next year and you're looking for a job or something like that. So it's all signs point to good things, and we're very thankful for that.
Thank you, Todd. Let's talk about what's going on in terms of recruiting and what the future sort of looks like.
Sure. So for fall 2021, most things are going to be virtual. They are. In the spring, I anticipate that to change a little bit, but as workforces come back, but it's still going to be virtual. All of the super days and sort of info sessions and company like symposiums and webinars and things like that, they're going to be virtual. However, there are a lot of opportunities for in-person internships, as I mentioned. I'm actually seeing, there are certain areas and certain industries, you've probably all read about them, where they really do prefer that sort of in-person interaction. So I expect it to remain about 50-50, over the next year or so. By next summer, if the Delta is kind of under control and things like that, I definitely anticipate, it to be primarily in person again. As far as YU events and specifically, the recruiting events, and I'll talk about a couple of those later in this in this webinar, they will be entirely virtual for the fall. There's a couple of reasons why we're doing that. Number one, we don't want to plan something and then all of a sudden there's new guidance from the CDC that we have to follow, obviously, and we have to cancel an event. Number two is, by doing virtual events, it allows us to bring professionals and employers and alumni that normally wouldn't be able to travel to Wolf or wouldn't be able to travel to Barron to come speak with students. So it really is a great benefit, and it's more convenient for them. And it also allows all of you to engage with people that you might otherwise not be able to.
Okay. Todd, that's really good information for all of our students, and we really do appreciate everyone's flexibility, right? And their ability to join us virtually for recruitment. And that is really a great thing that sort of occurred. Let's talk about, are you prepared? Are you ready to go through recruitment? It doesn't matter what your major is or what kind of job you're looking for, or even what your level is right now. The key goal for us is to get everyone prepared for what's going forth in their recruiting this year. So let's talk about that for a little bit. Todd, tell us a little bit about what a student can sort of do from an employer relations sort of perspective.
Sure. So, I mean, everybody knows, or you should know, or you will know after meeting with somebody on Joshua's team, that company research is one of the most integral parts of, any recruiting process. It doesn't matter the industry or the job or anything like that. You need to know about the company. These days, I think it's even more important because things have changed. Timelines have shifted slightly. So, if you're hearing from somebody or an alum that's been in the industry for a couple of years and they're talking about their recruiting process, be sure to double check it. Make sure you're researching specific companies. You're going to their HR pages. You're looking at when they're posting things. You're reaching out to Joshua's team to connect with us to find the latest and greatest information. It's very important to know what's going on because you don't want to go on pre-pandemic information. So you need to definitely do your research. This goes hand in hand with what Joshua's team will work with you on. Make sure your application documents are updated and ready to go. I can't tell you how many times that I'll hear from an alum or an employer or a recruiter where they have a last minute opening for this amazing internship, but they need resumes in 2 days. So what's going to happen in that case is someone on my team is going to send out an email to all students to submit their resume. If you don't have your application documents ready to go, like if it's not updated with what you did this past summer, or it's not updated with, whatever student organizations you may be joining this semester, you're going to miss that deadline. Right. So you definitely want to make sure that you have things ready to go at all times on a moment's notice, because, while you'd like to have the luxury of, okay, I have, until the end of the month to apply, or I could apply in November. The reality is that there are many occasions where these sort of last minute opportunities arise that you're going to need to take advantage of. So I definitely recommend make sure that you have your documents ready to go at all times. Also very important is pay attention to emails that you get from the Shavik Auerbach Center. I know YU students get many emails about many different things. Everybody does. It's just the fact of life in this age. But the primary way that we communicate opportunities to you is through email. They're all going to come from either Matthew Garcia or Barbara Lerman, two amazing people on my team that create the nice flyers and the postings and things like that. So when you do see emails from them, if you are looking for an internship or you're just wondering, if you're undecided and you don't know like what you want to do and you want to know what types of different opportunities are available, they're definitely worth a look. So please do keep an eye on your email and pay attention to stuff from us if you are looking for an internship or a job or anything industry related. And it won't just be about opportunities. It'll also be about all the different events that we do and like the meet and greets. One thing I must note is it is Shavik Auerbach Center policy that we do only communicate with students through their YU emails. So I know some people prefer Gmail just because it's a little less clunky or what have you. But it's important to check that YU email because that is the way that we communicate with you. And lastly, it's important to use our resources. Joshua, maybe you should talk a little bit about the resources.
Yeah, thank you, Todd.
Sure.
What we do here at the Shavik Auerbach Center, and I'm going to talk a little bit about some of the resources that we have available to you, is we are here. It's going all the time, right? A lot of our virtual resources are available to you in a number of different ways. I'm actually potentially going to show you some of them a little bit later that I think would actually match well with this. But yes, use our resources. I want to talk a little bit about interviewing before we go into all of our resources and sort of break those all down. Todd, when you do get that interview, talk to us a little bit about what the best things are in terms of virtual interviewing.
I mean, that's obvious. Everybody knows this or should know this or will know this is dress professionally. I know the age of Zoom and virtual, working at home, going to school at home, and things like that, things have gotten a little bit more casual. But remember, it's still an interview. There are still certain expectations on the part of a recruiter or the person you're interviewing with. They might be sitting there, in a t-shirt or some, very casual or what have you, but you still should be dressed professionally, at least from the waist up, to make that good impression. Also, this is obvious, just check your internet connection. You know, if you're going to be doing the interview in a place where you don't normally do, you know, other work on Wi-Fi or something like that. You know, I use the example is like maybe you do your work at the kitchen table normally, but you need to go to another private space to do the interview. Just make sure you have a good internet connection because you don't want things to, you know, slow down because it happens, but you want to make things as seamless as possible. And then, you know, just have a plain basic background. You know, you can blur your screen like Joshua has. You can just use a plain wall. I wouldn't recommend what I have in the background because like it could be slightly distracting. But you just want to, again, you just want to make it neat, and the focus in any interview should be on you, not what you're wearing, you know, not what your background is, you know, not your computer slowing down. You want the interviewer to focus on what you're actually saying, and because that's the most important thing. Not so obvious is, you know, you want to practice with a career advisor, you know, somebody on Joshua's team. You want to practice with a friend even. You want to utilize our big interview platform, which is a virtual interviewing platform that I'm sure Joshua is going to mention in a little bit. You know, you want to be connected to perhaps an alum. You know, perhaps somebody through the Yeshiva University mentoring volunteer program, which I'll talk about a little bit later, and speak to somebody actually in the industry, what kind of questions they think you're going to get asked, so you could be prepared. You know, the most important part of any interview is the prep that you do before it, right? You know, nobody gets lucky on an interview because luck is just the residue of good preparation. You know, I really like that quote. It's from a it's a good quote. I like it. But also, you know, since you are going to be doing it virtually, most likely is record yourself. It may seem a little uncomfortable, and this is something you can actually do through Big Interview. But, you know, are you looking directly at the webcam, or are you focused on something on the wall or it looks like you're focused on something on the wall because you know you're using a webcam or what have you. But you'll pick up on things that you normally wouldn't, you know, by just, you know, practicing on your own. And definitely ask others for feedback, because again, you know, other people will notice things that perhaps you didn't, and any constructive feedback is good, you know, when you're trying to put your best foot forward on something, and an interview is definitely an important thing to do so.
Okay. Thank you, Todd. Those are really good ideas for an interview. Let's talk a little bit about your career toolbox, okay? And I'm gonna take over for Todd and give him a minute to breathe and catch his breath. There's a lot of different things that we need to sort of have in place so that you are able to apply and potentially get the job that you want. First thing is we've got to have a resume, okay? If you are a new student or you haven't created one yet, or you're using a high school resume, this is a great time to sort of jump in and build your first resume. We have resume templates and a bunch of tips and guides with it in the Shevat Glabach Center Canvas Hub. You've all been invited to that. If you haven't, you can go onto our website, yu.edu/SGC, and you can have access to our Canvas group. If you have a resume, but you haven't updated it with your summer internship from 2021, please go in, take a look, update it. You then resubmit it into YUCL. We'll give you comments and feedback, and we'll make sure that you're ready and up to speed. Okay, let's talk a little bit about cover letters as we sort of move through. Are they needed? For some positions, they will be 100% needed. That is an important piece of what we're developing. We also have a cover letter guide on our Canvas Hub. For some companies, they won't be needed, and that's okay. It just won't give you the ability to sort of share a little bit more information about yourself. Cover letter is a great way to sort of share your experience and where you potentially meet with an internship. Every single student, we hope, at Yeshiva University will make a LinkedIn profile. We have a lovely LinkedIn guide, again, on our Canvas Hub. And that's really a place where you should be joining the Shevat Glabach Center group within LinkedIn. I'm on there every single day, and we post interesting things. We post some jobs every once in a while. There's good material there for you to really use. In addition to sort of everything that's going on we have a number of career events going on, including next Wednesday, we have our finance fair. There's a number of things throughout the year: technology, nonprofit, marketing, real estate. We have a number of networking opportunities. There'll be on-campus interviewing that happens virtually. All the events are available on the events website. and you can have access to us. Also, as Todd said, we're going to be sending out a number of blasts throughout the year. Those blasts will really make sure that you have access to every event that is occurring. In addition to that, one of the things you'll find is all of these events, all of the opportunities will be available in our newsletter. So really stay up to date with us. It's really, really quite important. Okay, research and preparedness and resources. A big thing of what we do here is make sure that you're ready. Okay, we have access to something called Vault. So if you're not sure what you want to apply to, or you're thinking about applying to a certain career, but you're not, you want to read a little bit more, or you need to find lists of companies. Not only do we have that available in our Canvas course, but we have that in Vault as well. So there's really a lot of information and access. Todd mentioned this earlier, but in terms of interviewing, we have the big interview platform. You can record a video, and after you're done recording that video, one of our advisors will give you feedback on it. We have a great tool called JobScan. If you're someone who's applying to a Fortune 500 company, and you think that you want to be a competitive candidate, you can set up a time with an advisor to learn more about JobScan. It's an applicant tracking software system, okay, that helps you align to an internship or job profile. Finally, the career link, YUCL, as many of you know it. You all have access. If you don't have access, you can email us at careerstrategy@yu.edu. I will share that again later. Okay. What we have available in YUCL is postings, many that Todd and his team will populate over the course of the semester. It's what houses your resume, okay, and all of your documentation. You can update your profile. You can also make great appointments with the SGC career advising team. Myself, Naomi Kapp, Sharon Mellor-Reyes, Daniel Coleman, and Jim McCorder. We would love to have you come and meet with us. There are appointments open now. We're pretty booked up between now and Labor Day, but we could always try to find an appointment while we're not here on campus and have that appointment virtually. We look forward to sort of meeting all of you and making sure that you're all ready. Okay. Todd, do you want to talk a little bit about some recruiting timelines?
Yeah, just very quickly. I'm not going to spend too much time on these because these resources are available in our Canvas course as well. But this is actually relevant because I see there was a question here from a first-time on campus student about finance recruiting. To directly answer that question, if you're first time on campus and you're officially a sophomore, you'll be recruiting for your rising senior internship, which will be the internship during summer 2023, starting March 2022. So that's about 6 months away, 6-7 months or so. So there absolutely is time to start, to get ready for when investment banking recruiting starts. But finance of all the industries is by far the most accelerated. As I mentioned, it typically starts about, anywhere from 12 to 15 months in advance of the actual internship. The really top firms will be done by midsummer usually, usually no later than July. That's not to say it's not possible because opportunities do come up at last minute, but for the most part, it's going to be done by the July before. And then for IB specifically, right around this time, it's done. There are plenty of other finance opportunities recruiting, such as corporate roles like risk and other sort of back office. And if you're not sure what all that means, but believe me, like you'll learn. But the front office roles like sales and trading and investment banking for next summer, they're pretty much done at this point. But I do encourage you to access the Canvas course. You can download a copy of this or just email careerstrategy@yu.edu and we'll get it to you. That's finance. You want to go to accounting? Accounting is also another one of those sort of structured recruiting timelines, depending on whether or not you're going to go for your MS, which gets you the CPA and the 150 credits, or just stick with the BS for the 128 credits. This gives you an idea of when you're going to be recruiting for that. Using an FTOC, a first time on campus example, again, so if you're a accounting major, and you're a sophomore starting your first semester sophomore year, next spring, so spring 2021, you're going to 2022 rather, you're going to be recruiting for summer 2022 leadership opportunities, which are sort of short 3 to 5 day programs at the various firms. At the end of those 5 days, if you do really well, you'll have your internship offer for summer 2023 by then as well. So it's accelerated, but not quite as accelerated as the finance stuff. And I realize a lot of this may sound pretty overwhelming. You're like, oh my goodness, I just got to campus. Like, this is what I want to do. And now like this is all frantic. Don't worry. You know, Joshua's team's going to work with you. You're going to get this information from my team on employee relations, and we'll make sure that you're prepared when the time comes for you to actually, you know, start this stuff.
Okay, thank you, Todd. That was a great overview. Really appreciate that. Todd, you want to talk a little bit about what we have going on next week for finance and accounting majors?
Sure. So next Wednesday, September 1st from 7 to 9 p.m., we do have our virtual finance and accounting fair. All students are welcome. It does not matter your major or what class level you are or what have you. It's both a fair and a networking event. I think we're going to have about 24 or 25 different firms represented. If you log into YUCL and you click on the event there, you'll see the list of firms. And the goal is, you know, really just to allow you to engage with various professionals and alumni at these different firms. Ask questions like, you know, what opportunities might they have available, or what does the person that you're speaking to do? You know, use it as a chance to get feedback on your resumes as well, because these are all professionals, you know, actually doing the work, you know, and they're very happy to give feedback on that. In addition to the networking aspect, you know, some of these firms are hiring. You know, they're hiring for next summer. You know, whether it's internship or full time or something like that. So if you are looking for opportunities, you know, it's definitely worth you know, attending. And you'll receive, I realize it's a virtual fair, but you'll receive a ton of information about how it works. It's very, very similar to an in-person event, except as opposed to walking into a room and you see a bunch of tables and then you go stand on the line of the one that you want to walk to, that you want to speak to, you log into the event, you see the list of firms, and then you join their virtual queue, which works just like a line, and you have a one-on-one virtual chat with them, you know, for about 10 minutes or so before they move on to the next student. So.
Thanks, Todd. In addition to this event next week, I know that there are some pre-health students here, some psychology majors, and some students who may be going into the health fields. We have our health panel next week with Naomi Cap. She will be on that panel, who is from our office. That event you can also register for in YUCL. It is available as of today. So please go on in and register. It's available in the events tab when you're in YUCL. Todd, let's talk about YU MVP really quickly.
Sure. Just there was one other question, you know, specifically to psychology internships. What I would recommend is you know, specifically reach out to Naomi Cap in the office for on Joshua's team. She's a career advisor. You know, as Joshua just mentioned, she's doing the health event next year. She will give you some fantastic information on that. And I don't want to speak to it too much because I'm not an expert on it, but definitely do that, or reach out to me and I'll get the answers for you. But she'd be very happy to help you with that.
Thank you, Todd. YUVP, our mentoring volunteer program, is available at yu.edu /MVP. Todd, talk to us about what YUVP really does for a student.
Sure. So YU MVP, or the mentoring volunteer program, it's a virtual flash mentoring platform that we have about, I think we have about 350 different alumni in there at this point. This is a resource that's open to every single YU student. And you can go in there and you could sort by industry, you could sort by company, you could sort by, you know, level of experience, like all different sorts of things. And if you find somebody, you know, that looks like somebody that you want to talk to, whether just about, life in general. Literally, it could be about that, or you want them to look at your resume, or you want more information about something. You could reach out to them on the platform, and they are already bought in. They know students are going to be hearing from them. They're happy to hear from you. So it's your direct source to the YU alumni community, which is incredibly supportive, as I'm sure many of you know. So definitely take advantage of the individuals there. Joshua's team is amazing. They do amazing work, and you'll see that when you speak with them. But if you're looking for information from people actually doing the work that you're interested in, like you want to learn more about financial modeling, which is like a foreign language to me, you could find somebody that does that on YU MVP and talk to them directly. And every student has an account already. All you need to do is go there, log in, and just quickly fill out your profile. And you're good to go.
Great. Todd, talk to us a little bit about your team.
Sure. I just wanted to introduce Matt and Barbara, because as I mentioned, you're going to see a lot of emails from them. You probably already are seeing a lot of emails from them. But Matthew is the Associate Director of Employee Relations and Alumni Programs. He really spearheads a lot of our mentoring initiatives, like YU MVP, and also some of the school-specific mentoring programs. I'm sure you'll see him around. And then Barbara is the Employee Relations Specialist. She's been on maternity leave for 5 months, but thank goodness she just came back this week, and we are very, very thankful for it. She is the primary messenger of all of the employer relations related events. So you're going to see her name a lot. And she's also happy to hear from you. If you have questions about events or anything in general, just reply or reach out, and she'd be happy to help.
Great. Okay. We are at the time where I'm going to stop the share. And this is our time for questions. I also want to show off one really interesting and cool thing that we have available in our brand new website. So just give me 1 second while I pull that up, and then I'm going to do a quick share, and then we're going to, if you have questions, you can type them in the chat. That is always a good way to sort of find us. And I just want to show off some of the things that we have available to you that you may not have thought about before. So I'm just going to do a quick share and a quick demo, and then we'll get out of here. And then you can have the rest of your nights. Okay, first off, this is our new website. This is the Chevrolet Cloud Center for Career Strategy Professional website. Very easy, yu.edu/SGC. All the way down here at the bottom in the middle of the screen is online resources. Everything that we talked about tonight is available here. Super easy to find, including that Canvas hub, which will take you to that website. We have a bunch of materials in here. But I also want to show you something from our post-graduation destination outcomes. So let's say that you happen to be a major such as accounting, okay? If we were to look at the 2020 survey year for accounting, this is where students ended up last year. And you can actually sort here down in top employers to see where our students end up. So if you were wondering what companies you might want to apply to, all of these companies down here have had accounting majors hired in the last 4 years, and you could see by number how many they selected. It's a great way to just find companies if you're struggling to populate. I'm just going to change from the major from accounting to finance, which I cannot find at this exact moment. I think it's under business. We're just going to go to business and management, okay, instead of finance. And you can see if we sort here, down here at the bottom, you can see where students ended up, and all the firms are really listed here. So that's a great way to really find some companies if you're struggling to really find things or companies to apply to that aren't on YUCL. Okay, with that said,
just one note on that to add to that, and obviously what you said is very true. But also if you're not sure what to do with your major, or what can I do with my major, that's a great way to see what other students with your major what they've gone on to do.
Yes, absolutely. Thank you, Todd. That's a very, very good point. Do we have any questions this evening? We have answered a bunch of them as we've gone through our presentation. But if we don't have any more, and I'm not seeing any more, give everyone another second here. Okay, well, students, I want to thank you all for coming tonight. For everyone here at the Chevrolet Clabbeck Center. Oh, we do have some questions. Look at that, right as we were about to end. What do you do to sign up for YU MVP? All you have to do is go to yu.edu/MVP. You already have an account in the system. All you have to do is fill out some quick information and your account will be activated. Okay. It entails, YU MVP entails reaching out to a mentor and potentially having conversations. What about consulting 2022 internships? Is there anything specific available for those students?
So for summer 2022, they'll be recruiting current juniors essentially now. And we're in the process of compiling that information and it will be sent very soon. They haven't started just yet, but the big firms like Accenture, I expect to begin probably by the end of September or so.
Okay, I'm answering a few questions via chat. Do we have any other questions? I think we've touched on a bunch of this stuff. All right. Well, seeing no further action. And now that we've gone quite a bit of time, I want to thank you all for coming. From all of us here at the Chevrolet Clabbeck Center, we truly appreciate you joining us. And please, if you need anything, we're available at, again, careerstrategy@yu.edu. Our offices are always open via our website and the Canvas Hub. And please, if you need to make an appointment with one of our advisors, we are always here for you. Thank you so much. And Todd, we really appreciate you giving this presentation as we start the fall semester. Okay, we look forward to seeing you all soon. We look forward, if you are watching this on YouTube, thank you for watching this after the event. We do appreciate the views. Thank you so much. Have a good night.
Thank you.